Right. So for those who aren't, I don't know how many of y'all are big in the metal scene, but Finn McKenty was a popular YouTuber known as the Punk Rock MBA. Bro was a pillar in the metal community. Um, but a lot of his videos, I've watched a few of them. They're pretty controversial. Like, yeah, the history of his What Killed series is really good, but at the same time, bro tries to think that everybody who isn't him is a poser. He started out as Sergeant Danger, making like metal blogs and stuff, and he's always had a penchant for trolling the community. So recently he decided to quit YouTube, and he kind of lied to the entire internet about why. He said, "I've reached my financial goals. I don't care about the music. I've done it all for the money." Which isn't exactly true if you have two band logos tattooed on your body. You know what I mean? Also, thank you for the welcome back. Anyway, we're gonna get into Wyattxhim's video on what killed the Punk Rock MBA. He's had an ongoing beef with the Punk Rock MBA for a long time, and this is more of like him talking about what might have led to Finn McKenty ultimately leaving the metal community. So, yeah.
Punk Rock MBA, aka Finn McKenty, has quit YouTube. I want to do a video about this individual for the third and final time to complete, I guess, this unofficial trilogy I've done on this guy, because there is a lot here we really need to discuss.
Yep.
Regardless of what you think of Finn McKenty, you love him.
I really don't like him. Like, sure, he got me into some newer bands, but Finn McKenty's always had like a very controversial take, and I'll show you guys like one of his videos, just to kind of show what I mean. Bro is literally a gatekeeper in the music community, and it's not okay.
You hate him, or you're somewhere in between. He is a part of the whole alternative, metal, hard rock, YouTube community sphere, regardless of what I think of him. And obviously from what I've uploaded about him over the past handful of years, I tend to disagree with him more often than not. But see, here's the thing. YouTube was established in February 14th, 2005, if memory serves me right.
Yep.
And it's still under the 20-year time gap of its age. It's still a very young platform.
It really is. This year will mark YouTube's 20th year.
So hearing about a YouTuber, content creator, whatever you want to call me and the rest of the individuals that are part of this, it's still something really new and unheard of to hear when a YouTuber calls it quits.
I think the first one I really saw, besides PewDiePie retired, but he didn't really stop making videos. MatPat ultimately quit, which is, he's a dad now. He's got better priorities, you know, and I understand that. Game Theory is still around and still kicking, but MatPat himself retired. So, yeah, most of the time when they leave YouTube, it's either for something predatory that they've done, or, you know, they've just run out of content, which is understandable.
I mean, as it stands while I'm recording this video, the Punk Rock MBA channel is a little over 600,000 subscribers, which sadly for YouTube standards still isn't really that big when you compare it to the biggest channels out there that are in the tens of millions.
Yeah.
It's minuscule, yes, but for music-related content, when it comes to either critiquing it, discussions, or reactionary stuff about it, this is massive. It really is. Because the only other individual that comes to mind that had a larger sub count than the Punk Rock MBA that at least I know of is Anthony Fantano. So again, I just want to reiterate, even though this is more of like a drama video that I try not to do, please understand there is a bit of a personal connection here, because he's still a really huge part in the involvement, again, regardless if you like him or not, of this whole YouTube community that I am a part of, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
A handful of days ago on a YouTube channel called Jesse Lee, it would be uploaded a video of Finn McKenty announcing why he quit YouTube.
And it's really, really sad because we know it's a lie. Those of us in the music community know it's a lie anyway. because you don't just get two bands tattooed on you and say, oh, you don't care about the music.
The interview goes on for roughly around 40 minutes, give or take, and there's really not much to talk about there other than what people have been consistently criticizing and quoting from Finn on certain key aspects. As the real reason as to why he quit YouTube is that he reached his financial goals. He only did it for the money. He was never interested in music, and he was just getting tired of the mundane routine of consistently talking about either what was trendy, new metal, what was happening in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and of course has to do one final jab at something popular in the alternative scene, stating that Linkin Park peaked in 2004. They're completely washed up. What else can I talk about? For starters, the big thing that a lot of people are criticizing him for is that he outright said, I only did this for money. I have no interest doing it. I reached my financial goals, and that's it. And I believe that mainly because he's always been so upfront.
He is big on marketing. I can understand I only did this for the money, because he is a big marketing pusher. That's understandable. But saying he didn't care about the music is dog shit.
With it, from always talking about the business side of the alternative scene and the marketing strategies, to his Patreon that he always plugs, the product placement that he always does. Yes, Finn has always made it upfront that money was a big motivator for him. And while I understand it's a source of income, times are tough in 2024, I think what makes it so distasteful, and for me at least idiotic, is it's distasteful because, you know, you're doing it in such a blunt way to your viewers that appreciated whatever, you know, you were providing to them. And to just state that, I just looked at you as dollar bills is really degrading regardless of...
It's really scummy too, because these are actual human beings that come into your comments, that watch your videos, that partake in your community. If you do that shit, you should not have done content creation. There is a deeply interpersonal aspect to content creation. There is a deeply there's a large exchange. Thank you for the lurk, vampire. Understood. There's a large exchange between the content creator and the community that consumes it. If you're just doing this for the money, you could have found something better. You could have. You could have been a manager for hundreds of different bands out there. But you chose to do content creation, which means that you chose to have the audience that you do. And to throw them away like that is disgusting.
Of what you think of Finn McKenty. What I just personally find idiotic about it, and I always have, is that when you make your relevancy on social media a steady source of income, I think that's very foolish, and you will burn yourself out. Considering just how rampant and quick social media is with like posting stuff, and you could just be out of the trend in just a few simple days, you're going to burn yourself out, and it's just an uphill battle that you're bound to lose.
If I ever care about what is trendy, other than, oh, you know, some VTubers have played this and I want to see what it's like, y'all tell me. I don't like trends. I don't care about trends. I will just post what I feel like posting, you know? That's where I feel it should be. Be right back. Okay.
The other claim that people have been criticizing heavily about Finn is that he stated, I was never in it for the music. I have no interest with it. And that claim by Finn, I do not believe even in the slightest, for a multitude of reasons.
Me either.
Regardless, again, of what you think of him, he is consistently around the alternative music scene. He's consistently talking about it. Yes, it's the marketing side of it, but there's other ways of enjoying music than just the sounds it makes, which I know this gets into like poser territory, that he's just posing as a fan, but regardless, you are still keeping up with it. And let me remind you that when I did my first response videos to Finn McKenty a handful of years ago, a lot of people criticized him that he was a poser. He's not into it. And every time somebody did, he would always comment back, well, I've been listening to this music for 30 years. I have a Hatebreed and Morbid Angel tattooed on me. So really, you never covered those tattoos. You've always bragged that you have them, which is like a badge of honor for music fans to have a music-related image tattooed on their body. So again, for him to state, I have no interest in music, that's a load of bullshit.
It is.
What I find just so extremely odd about this whole interview is that for someone like Finn McKenty, who has always been so self-aware of his image, his brand, marketing, and the growth of his YouTube channel, he's always come off that he is the, very cheerful and positive, like, alternative businessman. So why now, someone who is self-aware, you don't just give that up, would then paint himself that he's the bad guy, he's the poser that you've always hated, he's that greedy businessman that you've always called him for, that he just reads Wikipedia articles and there's not much else to it. This whole thing feels like a very polite way to tell his viewers that have been interested with him throughout the years to go fuck yourself.
It really does. It really does. It feels like a big fuck you. And I say this not as a Finn McKenty fan, but as somebody who has watched his videos from time to time when there's, like, nothing else on the subject. It does feel like a big fuck you.
Which now begs the question, why would he do this? Why does he want to be remembered in this way going out? I truly believe that the reason why he did this was to deviate everyone's attention for the real reason they're criticizing him. I state this with confidence because Finn has always proclaimed, I check all the comments. I read all the comments, guys. I listen to what you have to say. Even Become the Night, when he did a video on what killed the Punk Rock MBA, even he brings this up in his interview stating, Finn, you're overdoing it. You're going to burn yourself out. You really shouldn't keep up with all of these comments. And while Finn may burn himself...
You really shouldn't. I mean, I do because I'm small, but once you get bigger, you can't. You physically can't. Welcome back, Vampire. You physically can't keep up with comments once you get large enough. Like, there's no point. It'll just wear you down.
...self out, that's still not the reason why, because what this tells me is he's clearly seeing what people are saying about him, and he's never brought it up. Because when it comes to negative comments talking about Finn, there are two distinct things people will say. The first one is always, Finn doesn't know what he's talking about. Finn's takes are really bad. Finn seems very uninformed.
That's why I keep myself mega small and unnoticeable. I wish I could do that, but the way our traction is going, it's not going to be the case.
He has no idea what he's talking about. And most of his viewers that enjoy him chalk it down to, oh, it's just his opinion, don't take it too seriously, why do you watch him? And see, people, you got to realize there is a massive difference between your personal opinion and objective criticism. A few examples that I can give you is on his Why People Enjoy Black Metal video, which I know has become insanely infamous throughout the years. I'll never forget.
But if I visit and do stream takeover, I might not be able to be unnoticeable anymore. Yeah, that's pretty much the case, yeah.
Forget when he stated in that video that all black metal bands just sound the same.
Also, for anybody that hasn't listened to black metal does not all sound the same. I promise you there are some really good ones in there that don't sound the same. And the thing is, I think even in that fucking video, he played black metal that was very avant-garde and weird. And it's like, you can't say all black metal sounds the same if you like people like Have a Hedge, if you like people like Vaughn. You can't say that.
And again, people would say, so what? That's just his opinion. And you're right, that's Finn McKenty's personal opinion that all black metal bands sound the same.
But he makes it sound like objective criticism.
But when it comes to objective criticism, that is just factually wrong. Again, Finn's opinion is stating that all black metal sounds the same. So you're telling me Abigor, Diabolical Masquerade, Niflheim, and Axis of Perdition all sound the same?
And they don't. They don't.
Or what I would consider to be arguably like his worst video is what
One night somehow ended up down the moan metal rabbit hole watching female metal bands. Oh boy. Have fun with that.
killed indie rock, which that video, it's like take a shot every time Finn McKenty brings up a personal opinion that is like really, insensitive or just wrong. Because one example I can give you from that video is he stated, and I still can't believe this, that Sonic Youth and the Lumineers sound the same, which, bro, no. To summarize this first
Metal music for me is now never the same. If you watch some of Wyatt's videos, you'll come across a plethora of stuff that is very different, very unique. Also, Sonic Youth does not sound like the Lumineers. I just want to make that clear. Um, like, dude, those are two vastly different indie bands. What? No. Just no. They do not sound the same.
First example of negative comments that he gets is simply put, Finn does not want to take accountability. Finn does not know the difference between an opinion and objective criticism. He doesn't. And that's the thing that a lot of people are guilty of, myself included. I'm guilty of it in previous videos. But God, people, you have to realize, I get that this is the internet. I get that this is your opinion and you shouldn't get mad at it. But there's a difference. There is a difference between the two. And
make sure that you state it is your opinion. That is the best way to avoid people taking what you say as fact.
When you are going out attacking or making fun of anything, if you're solely just relying on your opinion, you don't have much to back it up. Thus, right. I'm going to be real with you. When people get eaten up for bad opinions, I don't feel bad for them because honestly, you should know better. Hence why, when you watch the interview of Finn talking about as to why he quit, every single sentence and word that he says, he sounds extremely miserable and bitter. And it mainly has to do with the fact that when he's looking at all those comments that he proclaims that he does, yeah, a majority of them are negative. Why? Because they're targeting him not because of his opinion that they're upset about, but he is stating things that are just factually wrong when you're criticizing.
Hey, that has nothing to do with what the current subject is. What do you mean? Oh, the maid outfit.
Sizing them, and he could never figure out as to why that is. And it obviously did affect him, as he stated in other interviews, that he gets like panic attacks, I think, when he goes to bed or something. He has trouble sleeping. So mentally...
Never mind, I'll ask in Discord DMs, probably a more private thing. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
This does affect him. It's just the humongous reason as to why it never changed is Finn does not know the difference between a personal opinion and objective criticism, which overall in Finn's regard, that's a bit immature. Which now leads to the second claim that he more than likely sees people criticize him for. That, of course, being Finn's wife. As of right now, as I'm recording this, Finn is 46 years old, and his wife was born in the year of 1994, putting her rough...
She is 33? Yeah, she's 33. He's a total 13 years older than her, I think. Yeah.
Around the age of 30. And that's a 16-year difference of an age gap. Now, one might argue right there, okay, so they're both adults, there's an age gap, what have you. See, when you look at the history of them two, and you start realizing how long they've been together and when they started dating, things get really sketchy. Now, more and more people have been bringing this up. Hell, I've even joked around about it. But when Finn and his wife started talking and dating, it goes all the way back to the year of 2012. You can even go on her personal Instagram.
No, she was born in 1994. So that would make her... Oh, yeah. She might be 31 in 2025. You're right. I went the wrong direction. If she was born in 92, she would be like 33. turning 33. I'm thinking I'm bouncing off of I'm thinking of my birthday, my birth date, and moving back a few years. Wait, when was she born? 1994. So she would be turning 31. Yeah, I was going the wrong direction.
They're flirting, they have pictures together, and that would put her at the age of 18. And that would mean at the age of 18, Finn was 34 years old when they started talking. Which again, you might think, it's legal age, Wyatt. She's legal. There's nothing wrong there. They're just consenting adults and they're just happy, let them be. No. Absolutely not. There is something very gross about this because, which would mean at the age of 18, she is in high school right now. Finn is a grown adult. Again, 34 years old. And there are studies out there that state that a brain doesn't fully develop until at least the age of 25 to 26. Yep. There's maturing past the age of 18. So yes, while physically you are an adult 18, mentally when you're 18, you're still a child. So while legally Finn didn't groom her, which people argue about that, I'll give you that just for the legal sake. Ethically and morally, that absolutely is grooming. Also,
I sent the question to your Discord DM. I'll take a look at it after this video.
Side note, another thing that you need to consider, which this is where it gets more sketchy, but there's no hard data to back this up, is they were dating when she was 18 legally, but as you all know, before you date, you start talking. So how further back does that go? And of course it can go back even further because obviously, as we all know, before we start talking, we have this physical connection together of attraction, which again means at some point, Finn, being in his mid-30s, looked at a high schooler who was barely legal and said, I have interest with this woman. The only other thing to bring up with...
No, that's... This is gross.
Finn's wife is that she used to have a YouTube channel, or technically she still does, but she doesn't upload on it anymore. And when you go on that channel, all the videos got taken down. But people still remember what she talked about and they still bring it up to this day. Because she would upload two things. It was either makeup tutorials or her politics. From what I gather, from what people say, it's always consistent on the description of these videos, is that her politics had a lot of ignorance to them. She would criticize the LGBT, there was a lot of homophobia with a lot of her comments, a lot of transphobia, and basically had this attitude of, I'm going to own the libs with a lot of her discussions. And I think the most ironic thing that she said is that she stated that the LGBT's whole sole purpose and propaganda is to groom children. Bitch, you are the last person to bring that up.
You have no room to fucking talk. That vinyl record art in the back keeps attracting my attention. Exhuma's pretty good. I like Exhuma. They're a pretty good band.
Criticize that in any sense. What's honestly despicable about all of this is that no one took responsibility. No one, addressed any of this in their interviews, either Finn or his wife, and it just seems like they don't want to take responsibility. Hence why when I talked about earlier on in this video where Finn is trying to deviate our attention away from it, is that, he wants to go down, or his only options were really, if he's going to go down and be done with YouTube, it's either I'm remembered as some really ignorant person that did some really shady things in terms of like how my wife and I met, or I go down stating, guys, I never cared, I only did it for the money, I'm the bad guy that you've always talked about and that you've always proclaimed me to be, remember me as this. In conclusion,
Vampire is so old he remembers listening to vinyl. I had a lot of cassette tapes and vinyls growing up.
The reason why I want to do this video is not only just because Finn is a part of this community, is that I want higher standards for us.
We need better standards for the music community. Any music community. Not just metal, but rap, pop, country, whatever you are interested in, there should be higher standards for content creators that are influenced by that kind of content.
Want the music YouTube community that I'm a part of talking about this music to just have people like this who do some really sketchy and honestly ignorant things, and we just go, it's just his opinion, it's whatever. I really do feel like Finn kind of got away with some stuff, and the
Yeah.
fact that he's never addressed anything like this is just really sketchy and immature, and it's just something that I've always wanted to be brought up, and I just don't think anyone ever has, or if they try to do it, they do it in a joking way that's hard to take seriously. And this is something that really needs to be discussed here, and we really need, in my personal view, to up the standards a little bit when
Yeah.
people like him start showing up. And that'll do it for this video, guys.
Well, I definitely can agree with most of that. Very sketchy dude. Uh, he let the comments get to him, but also he didn't take the time to show the difference between objective criticism and opinion, which is fine until it becomes your whole shtick. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's gonna do it for now. YouTube, please like it if you like it. Please dislike it if you dislike it. Leave your thoughts and criticisms in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Have you ever listened to Finn McKenty? Do you have the same opinions? You know, do you agree with Finn? Do you agree with Wyatt? Let me know. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.